Hi haters, I'm Mursha and I'm curious, why is it that we love reality TV? Does it allow us to just turn our brains off by watching sporadic editing filled with really weird musical cues?
First things first, I'm a sinner. It's no fun being a saint.
Do we get satisfaction from judging all of these really privileged people? Or is it some sort of societal hypnosis that draws us into watching the most dramatic lives in America?
What the Are you delusional?
Are you delusional?
Whatever the case, today's hot topic is none other than the show people cannot stop talking about, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
At this point, I'm like, can Mom Talk even survive this?
This show has been going door to door like the Latter-day Saint missionary boys, converting people and their streaming services. It's a new reality show that combines religious isolation, high society, and the lack of emotional intelligence. And let me tell you, people are gobbling it up faster than potatoes at a Mormon funeral. So it's time to grab your caffeinated sodas because I am going to explain to you the entire plot of season 1, and we're going to find out. Can Mom Talk really survive this? You might be asking yourself, why does anyone care about these Mormon wives? Or maybe you're asking, where could I get a cool sweatshirt just like this one? Or, Mursha, why is the top of your microphone covered in white? And I have the answers to all of these burning questions, starting with my updated merch store. Now you, yes, you, can sport your hatred for all things by getting a certified hater tee. But if you're looking for something cozier for the colder months, there is a matching jogger set for this sweatshirt. Ooh, ah. There's even coffee mugs for your warm beverages, or for water, or for pens. I don't know what you do with mugs. We have them. Very cool. You can check out the full catalog of the items that I've designed in the shop that is linked to this channel, or you can visit the Fourth Wall shop linked down below. And as to what's going on with my mic, I was Chapel Roan for Halloween over on my Twitch. I streamed in costume. I played Phasmophobia with a friend, and I basically sang the entirety of Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, and it was amazing. So I didn't clean my mic. But back to the final burning question. These ladies actually run what's called #MomTalk that has over 5.3 million posts, and the group gained notoriety after Taylor Frankie Paul announced her divorce but said she couldn't go into details without ruining other people's lives. What an all-American saint. However, her fans demanded the tea, so on a TikTok live, she admitted that some of the moms in the group ended up in a swinging scandal with each other and their husbands. And on top of that, the couples were drinking while engaging in this behavior, which, if you don't know, is very against Mormon religion and rules. And apparently Taylor took the swinging too far and ended up cheating on her husband, which led to their divorce. So it's kind of looking like some of these Mormons aren't going to get their planets after all. The remainder of the girls in the group tried to distance themselves from this situation, but there were quite a number of receipts, including an OnlyFans account with Taylor and another girl. So yeah, they had plenty of content to make a new reality TV show. And I don't really know what it is, but I am fascinated with this show. It really scratches an itch in my brain to watch all of these perfect people be petty and have problems and talk about eating pussy as if it's the dirtiest thing you can do in a bedroom. And it's just simply amazing. But if you're not into watching that kind of thing on your own, I guess you're here to watch an astronomically less perfect person explain the entirety to you. The show opens up by following Taylor, who is dealing with the aftermath of the swinging scandal going viral, and she's now dating this new guy, Dakota, which she admits that after they started dating, they got into this huge fight because she got really drunk, and they already have trust issues based on both of their pasts. Her mom advises her to take things slow, to focus on her kids and herself, and Taylor vocally ignores this. And we also find out that Dakota is a former addict and almost died from fentanyl, and that she might be pregnant with his baby. It then cuts to the other women that we'll see on the show. We're at Jesse's house, And I would just like you to pick out which one is Jesse. You wouldn't be able to. And it's funny because one of the girls even admits that they all look the same.
I guess you could say a lot of us in Mom Talk look similar. We all have a similar style or a similar look, but we're just going off base what's trending, especially in Utah. There's a lot of blonde bitches here. So, I mean, what do you expect?
At this brunch, they are talking about how our main antagonist is going to be moving back from Hawaii. She wasn't there for vacation. She had moved to Hawaii for 2 months. How do people have the money to do this? I don't get it. Anyway, here's Whitney and her husband Connor, who the girls mentioned was on Tinder before their sudden move to Hawaii. But there's a lot of speculation on the internet that he was on Grindr. And I mean, come on. This man has bleached hair, a dad stash, and is wearing a fun pattern button-up shirt. Needless to say, this is the first line that we hear from him.
I am buzzing. I'm psyched.
I literally Googled gay men and Whitney's husband came up. Seriously though, I bet you can't tell that I photoshopped him into this picture. I really do hope this man finds what he wants. For real. I'm on your side, Connor. Anyway, Whitney is now back in Mormon capital USA, and she sucks. Her, Michaela, Taylor, and Macy were apparently the original 4 moms making content on Mom Talk, and Whitney has some animosity towards Taylor because she chose to share the swinging story, so now everyone thinks all of those 4 moms were involved in the swinging when that's technically not the case. But I just want to say that Whitney is immediately two-faced about Taylor getting a boob job.
Like my titties? Who's your plastic surgeon? Dr. Chitty. Chitty Titty. Chitty Titty. Dr. Chitty Titty.
Like she's talking shit behind her back to Michaela, mocking the fact that she got plastic surgery. And then when Taylor shows up, she's like, oh my God, can I touch your boobs? They look great. Also, say hi to Michaela. We're now introduced to Michaela. She is very interesting because she had a baby at 16. And at the time, her then partner was 21, which is illegal. But I guess there's rules in the Mormon church where if you do it in the eyes of God, like all is forgiven. So they're married now. And she also documents her chronic eczema on her social media accounts. And I think that's really cool that she is willing to open up about her chronic illness and showcases like what goes on behind the scenes, especially seeing her on the show and then seeing what happens behind the scenes, that it's not always what you see on TV. So I think Michaela's pretty cool. At this brunch though, Taylor does not apologize for talking about the swinging scandal on her TikTok live, because even though people are upset about her saying that, they're still making content around the fact that it went viral. So in her head, she's boosting their views on social media. And I mean, like, she's not wrong because everyone is benefiting from it. And I appreciate Taylor's realness in this situation. I mean, there's so many creators nowadays that know exactly what they're doing when they post things. Like I've watched a lot of videos about people rage baiting, like doing something stupid in videos just to get comments saying, why the fuck are you doing that? But I think it's important to note that at this point, Whitney says that she wants to resolve this tension between them because she feels like they're friends from all being on Mom Talk together. Okay, just keep that in mind.
We need this community, and I want us to be loyal to each other and feel safe with each other and honest with each other. And
I agree.
And by the end of brunch, it kind of feels like they're all on the same page about supporting each other and making content again. I don't know. It's more likely that it's just edited with footage of them smiling and posting happy music over it, and we as the audience think that everything's good to go, right? Then we go back to Whitney's house where she confronts Connor about the allegations of him being on Tinder, which they then confirm to be true, allegedly Tinder. And it really feels like Connor is struggling with his sexuality. They also mention at one point that he had like a porn addiction or something like that. But just the verbiage they use around this entire scenario is very confusing for people that don't really know what's happening. Like Connor says it was a problem. And later on when Whitney talks to the other moms, she says that he was confused. And she states that he was sending pictures to the people that he was matching with on Tinder, but you can't send pictures on Tinder, but you can on apps like Grindr and Bumble. So who knows? Connor also changes his look almost every single episode, and some people think it's because he doesn't want to be recognized from his dating profile pictures, but I think it's because this is the only way that he can truly express himself. Whitney finally admits to the moms that this situation with her gay husband was the reason why they moved to Hawaii. However, apparently Whitney was using Taylor and the swinging scandal as like a cover-up, so now Taylor feels lied to. And since they're all in the same room together, Taylor wants to open up about her predicament as well. She found out that she is pregnant, but it's an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the fertilized egg was growing outside of the uterus and the baby will not survive, which is a really crazy and scary thing that women go through. And Taylor was super hesitant to tell the girls because she doesn't want to be judged for having a baby out of wedlock. And do you remember how when they were at brunch, Whitney said, okay, let's all be friends and be supportive of each other? Well, now Whitney is upset that Taylor took the spotlight from Whitney talking about her problems with her gay husband.
What the actual fuck, Taylor? What the hell are you doing?
Are you seeing how she kind of sucks? And this is just the beginning. The first episode ends with Taylor going on a date with Dakota, and since he is a former addict, he doesn't want any kind of party lifestyle at all, but Taylor loves to drink. And she's like, I'm gonna get sloshed tonight. So she goes out, she gets drunk, and then it cuts to body cam footage of police coming to their house and arresting Taylor because she apparently threw a chair at Dakota when she got back home because they started arguing, and now she's in jail. And the time jump from the first episode to the second episode is insane. 11 months have passed. Taylor is on parole. She's pregnant again, except this time she's about 8 months along. And this just shows how much Taylor's story influences the production of this show. Like 11 uneventful months passed before they were able to put together a good second episode. Do you know what I mean? And Whitney thinks that she's the top dog here. Due to all of this negative publicity around Mom Talk, the girls are now struggling to gain brand deals, and now they want to kind of like rejuvenate the group of Mom Talk. Whitney comes forward with a brand deal that she's scared to promote because it's taboo: sex toys. And initially I thought this was really cool, and it's one of the things that I actually like about this show. Like, we're following the most hyper conservative group of women, and somehow they are a bit progressive. Like, it's such an interesting dynamic to me that I eat the show up. Here we get introduced to Layla, the only black mom in the group, who is 22 and is getting divorced from her husband of 3 years, who has never had an orgasm. If anyone needs a brand deal for sex toys, it's Layla. And she's kind of like a fly on the wall throughout the whole series, and I just love to watch her face as the other girls just cuss each other out and all the drama happens. During this sex talk, we also meet Jen Affleck, married to a Zach Affleck, who both claim that they are related to Ben Affleck.
Zach's gonna kill me for this one, but Ben Affleck is his second cousin.
They aren't, and this is so embarrassing for them. Jen is one of the most Mormon girls in the group, and her husband absolutely sucks. Taylor is now planning a baby shower and meets up with Macy, who reveals that she has a lot of animosity towards Dakota, and rightfully so. Macy is one of the coolest girls in the group and eventually plays the role of mediator when the group splits. To have a fresh start with Mom Talk after she gets out of jail, Taylor wants all the moms to come to her baby shower. However, Whitney does not show up because she doesn't think that they're friends anymore. During an outing with Layla, Layla even admits that this is typical Whitney behavior to just avoid her problems with people, like how she moved to Hawaii for 2 months. This causes a big rift in the group, essentially dividing them into self-proclaimed sinners and saints. In the next episode, Michaela even says that Whitney is very calculated and most likely didn't show up to the baby shower because she wanted to bring the attention to herself. And it's just so crazy to me that these women see right through Whitney. Then Jen's stupid husband Zach is having a party at his parents' house because he graduated from none other than BYU and is now going to start med school. And when I saw the people in Zach's family, I was like, there's no way that they are related to Ben Affleck. Like, these are the whitest people I've ever seen in my life. At this graduation party, Taylor and Whitney finally see each other again face to face, where Taylor tries to make an effort to talk to Whitney about why she didn't come to her baby shower, but it's really awkward and Whitney doesn't really seem receptive to talking about anything. Again, just avoiding her problems. And after Taylor leaves, she admits to Macy that she's still holding this grudge of when Taylor took the spotlight from her at the gathering of the girls in the first episode, which again, the second episode takes place 11 months after the first one. And Whitney is still holding this grudge. So now we have the saints consisting of Whitney, Michaela, Jen, and Macy, who all go to get Botox, but they literally just go to get the laughing gas. And it's just wild because there's so many loopholes in this religion and I just don't understand it.
Like, am I not going to get high for free? Like, it's not against the rule.
But while they're doing this, Jen opens up to the other saints about not wanting to invite some of the other girls to her baby blessing. So that basically further divides the sinners and the saints. Demi then hosts a Galentine's party at her house, which I love Demi. She's divorced. She's remarried though, but now her husband is 46. Which is kind of, people make fun of her a lot for that. All the moms are going to go to Demi's house. And while Whitney is getting ready with Macy and Michaela, she starts to talk about a private sexual story between Demi and her husband involving like a fruity cereal innuendo. Basically, Demi's husband ate her out and said that she tastes like fruity cereal. And apparently this is like a really wild thing to do in the bedroom. And you know what? I feel like a lot of things are starting to make sense now. And I can't think of another logical reason other than the fact that Whitney has her friends laughing, but she grabs fruity cereal, puts it in a box, wraps it, and brings it to the Galentine's event as a personal gift for Demi. Demi then opens the gift and is very hurt by this joke because the girls swore that they wouldn't talk about this, and now it's literally a part of a TV show. And honestly, coming from a woman who was just on the fence about promoting a sex toy on her social media account, it's just super weird and hypocritical of Whitney to do this. Like, Demi said that the point of this party was to come together and celebrate and empower each other. And Whitney is making fun of the host over something that she told her in confidence. And then when Demi receives the gesture poorly, Whitney is so childish and toxic that she gets mad that Demi couldn't take a joke. She even doubles down in her confessional by saying that she didn't even tell the whole story. Not an ounce of reflection or ownership. I think my least favorite thing about Whitney is that she talks a lot of shit to all the other girls to appear like super cool or like the alpha female in the group. But when the person she's talking about confronts her in any way, she can't handle the situation and then ends up crying, shutting down, or running away, or all of the above. And this is clearly shown when Macy plans a getaway weekend with all the Mom Talk girls for her birthday. And at this point, both Taylor and and Demi have issues with Whitney, and everybody is kind of on edge waiting for the drama to come out over the weekend. And at dinner the first night, Demi starts a truth box where the girls can write down anonymous confessions or questions to the other girls so they could work through the problems that they have with each other. And this scene is wild. Not only do these cards create drama, but let's rewind just a second, okay? Demi hands out the cards to each person, and we can clearly see the colors that everyone has. Right off, Whitney gets the blue cards, Michaela gets the yellow, Jen has yellow and green, Macy has pink and green, and honestly, there's some unclear remaining cards, but as they pull the first blue card, it reads, Whitney, why don't you like Taylor? Are you jealous of her clout? And I absolutely do believe that Whitney would go to this level to write a question to herself about someone else. Right now, it just checks out. She answers this by saying that she's upset that Taylor seems to get forgiveness from, I guess, people online or something, from all the drama that she's caused, like the swinging scandal, coming back from jail, etc. But apparently, people are still super eager to trash on Whitney online because of a video that she posted dancing in the NICU when her son was admitted, which is truly just an insane thing to post. Like, if you need to raise awareness for your kid, maybe just talk like a normal person about it. Later, Demi even claims that Whitney admitted to her that she posted that video solely for clout. So she knew exactly what she was doing when she posted that video.
And in that moment, she admitted to me that video that she posted was for sympathy, likes, clout, and for recognition and to gain her following.
And when Whitney talks about it, she again doubles down. And instead of saying something like, yeah, you know, I guess that was kind of messed up of me and maybe in poor taste, and, you know, I just really love my kids, blah, 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 she just cries because people are mad at her. Another card is pulled asking if Demi said that Jen was too Mormon, which was true, but it was a word of mouth from Whitney stirring the pot. And I just love that Demi swiftly calls out Whitney for instigating all of this when she's the one giggling over on the side of the couch. Jen says that Demi also talked shit about Taylor, calling her white trash, which was again word of mouth from Whitney. And Demi says that she only said that because Taylor got super drunk at a party and started flirting with Demi's husband. And she didn't know anything about like the swinging scandal at the time when this happened. And now Whitney is just having the time of her life watching all these girls argue, which is just like so petty of her. Like, she can't handle any kind of confrontation herself, but she's so quick to pit everyone else against each other. Taylor then claims that Demi took off her clothes to get mic'd in front of her boyfriend, and it's just like really chaotic. Another blue card is pulled saying, Whitney, who is your least favorite person and why? Where at this time, Whitney admits that it's Demi, which I think is more of like a scapegoat, maybe just to like end the game because she already got to talk about her feelings with Taylor, but who knows? Then Whitney immediately starts talking shit when they go upstairs back to the bedroom and gets upset with Macy for not having her back. And I feel so bad for Macy. She's trying so hard to remember if she should even defend Whitney for agreeing with what Demi had said initially. And Whitney says that the other girls were gaslighting her. And it's just so crazy to see manipulation like that happen in reality TV edited real time. Demi, on the other hand, goes directly up to Taylor and talks out how she called her white trash and apologizes, even lets her have the room to herself so they don't have to spend more time to each other, which is the exact opposite of what Whitney did in this situation. In the morning, Taylor asks Whitney to go upstairs with her so they can talk, and Whitney immediately gets scared by this confrontation with someone that she doesn't like.
Are you stressed?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Why?
I don't know. Don't punch me.
I'm not gonna like come at you screaming.
I can't come at you.
And this is what she was saying while they were driving up to this resort.
It's gonna be a boxing match. Ding, 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 ding. Who's gonna win?
Well, she's pregnant, so you can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah, I forgot she's pregnant. I forgot. Silly.
Whitney is so quick to talk crap about anybody else, but the moment people want to talk to her about the problems they have with her, she becomes like a soft baby girl. Demi then inserts herself into the conversation after a while because she knows how manipulative Whitney can be when she pulls the baby girl card, and everybody can hear that Taylor is now being a lot nicer to Whitney. And despite wanting Mom Talk to survive and go back to the way that things were, which I'm assuming means when they were friends, Whitney says that she doesn't care enough about Taylor to try to mend their friendship. But now that Demi is a part of the conversation, she calls Whitney out by saying, well, you cared enough about Taylor to talk shit about her to everybody else in the group, which I think is fair. And then things become too much for Whitney. She shuts down, starts crying, and literally runs away to a closet in the house to get sympathy from the other saints in her little posse. Demi then interrupts this pity party to then again confront Whitney for being a shitty friend, and even Jessie speaks up against Whitney, saying that she basically latches on to different people within the friend group to get certain things from that person or say whatever she wants to say to those people, and then kind of tosses them to the side after she gets what she wants. Basically saying that Whitney never comes off as like a genuine friend to any of these women. And like right in the middle of all of this, they realize they have a dinner reservation, so they have to start getting ready. And I feel so bad for Macy because it's literally her trip, her birthday, and she's the one comforting Whitney. And I think Taylor said it best, like the rest of these women should just be sucking it up to celebrate Macy during this weekend getaway. But at dinner, Whitney starts crying and has to leave the table. But then when she like composes herself or whatever, she comes back with the cake for Macy, and the editors did her so dirty here. And then Whitney has the audacity to say this.
I know when I'm fucking in the wrong. I was fucking not wrong.
What are you even saying, girl? But now we're halfway through the first season. After the weekend trip, Whitney leaves the group chat, which is a big public FU to all the other moms in the group. Essentially, Whitney did this so that people would come to her, check in on her, and make her the center of the group again, but it didn't really work because no one checked in on her. Apparently now Demi is the leader of the group because Whitney's out and Taylor is about to have her baby. And while she's on the phone with Macy, Whitney says that she just wants to step away from everything and remove herself from this friend group because it's not worth it to her, which honestly is fair. Like, it's valid to leave friendships that don't align with you anymore, but you'll see as the show goes on that that was not her real intentions in doing any of this. Also, this show jumps around like way too much, so we're just going to be going from scene to scene. I don't know. But now we're at a tattoo parlor for Layla to get a tattoo touched up with Demi and Jen, which, first of all, this is a very taboo thing to do. You know, your body is a temple and all of that. But secondly, Layla is getting her tattoo touched up because she initially got this tattoo to symbolize her marriage, but now she's getting divorced, which is yet another taboo thing in the Mormon religion. And I think this conversation is just pretty amazing. And it's another example of why I really enjoy the show. I think Demi is probably the most progressive of all the moms in the group. And so seeing her become the leader or whatever could be really impactful for the other moms in the group or women just generally living similar lives in either traditional marriages or conservative religions. Then there's a scene of all the TikTok moms going to some weird paint room where you just splash paint on the wall, except Taylor's not there because she's pregnant and Whitney is not there because she left the group where I'm assuming they plan get-togethers. And this fucking lady has the audacity yet again to play victim and say that they posted a picture of them going to this outing just for Whitney to see it. Get over yourself, Whitney. No one is out to get you. Like, no one in in the group likes you, but that doesn't mean that they're just doing things without you to spite you. I mean, isn't it everybody's job to post on social media anyway? We get to know a little bit more about Macy and her entrepreneurial efforts with starting a small business called Baby Mama, which essentially is just a line of natal supplements for pregnant women. And I think it's really cool that she got the idea of the name from seeing a same-sex couple with their surrogate or their baby mama from their IVF pregnancy. I feel like most Mormons would see gay people and burst into flames, not name their small business after their situation. I'm just saying, this might be as progressive as these conservative Mormons get, but I'm here for it. And since Taylor is super pregnant, Macy invites Taylor to come down and do like a promotional shoot with the brand to help her launch the product. But Taylor brings Dakota. And if you tuned out in the past 5 minutes, I'm here to remind you that Dakota and Macy hate each other. Taylor brought him along so that they could have like a conversation and clear the air between them. But Macy is literally working and says to Taylor, like, maybe we could do tomorrow. Maybe like when I'm not doing something for my small business. And so they plan to discuss it later. But then Dakota inserts himself into the photo shoot to basically get like maternity couple photos out of this photo shoot. And that kind of pisses Macy off because she's paying for this photographer as a promotional thing for her business, not for them to have like a private photo session. So now there's even like more tension between Macy and Dakota. Later that week, at Layla's divorce party, Whitney surprisingly shows up. And I just want to say that her husband looks absolutely insane. I can't imagine a straight person ever looking like this. Whitney and Jesse then have a conversation about what Jesse had said at the girls' trip. And when Whitney is mad, she just starts to swear a lot. And it's really weird to me because it's just way too aggressive.
Nobody fucking asked me, how are you doing? Nobody fucking called me and asked me why I left the group. Everybody went to fucking Macy. If you have an issue of why I left, then fucking call me.
And this is where we see Whitney's true intentions. She mentions to Jesse that she left the group and no one checked in on her. And she claims that she would have done that for anybody else that left the group, which I don't know. I remember her saying that she didn't care enough about Taylor to mend their friendship. So I really doubt that she would have checked in on Taylor if she had left the group. And now we have another moment of Whitney crying, leaving, and making another person's party about her. I don't know, guys. Is it the editing? Is it just Whitney? I feel like I'm being mean, but she really just sucks. Dakota and Macy then have the talk at Taylor's house the following morning, and Taylor breaks down about how she's still not able to get over the lies that Dakota told at the beginning of their relationship. And I say relationship here because even though they weren't technically dating officially, they still knew each other, they still slept with each other, and to me, even just knowing somebody at like an acquaintance level is a part of a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic or whatever. Basically, the situation was that he spent the night with a girl after he told Taylor that he was going to have a guys' night, but he also claims that they weren't dating yet at the time and that they had a ground rule that they could see whoever they wanted to outside of each other, apparently no questions asked. Taylor is struggling to deal with trusting Dakota, and I think the controversy around the swinging that led to her last marriage failing, plus being super hormonal from her pregnancy, doesn't help this situation at all. And because of this insecurity with trusting Dakota, she does not want to commit to marrying him just yet. And now Macy is sitting on the couch listening to them argue. The next episode opens with the girls finding out that Whitney unfollowed everybody except Macy, our middle ground queen. And I feel so bad for Macy because she just wants everybody to be happy and friends. And you can see her visibly get uncomfortable when all the other girls start talking shit about Whitney. Jesse then holds a painting party to celebrate getting her vagina touched up. trip, which I didn't even really know was a thing. She's apparently shaving off medically a part of her labia because it was hanging loose after she delivered her babies. And it's just so funny to me that these grown ass Mormon women are gasping at the names of these vagina themed drinks and the idea of painting a vagina. Things like this instill how much I love this show. Like, what do you mean you're uncomfortable with talking about a vagina? You have a vagina. It's absolutely fascinating to me.
Labialicious, peach on the beach, and then we've got pink pussy. Makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
But as they paint, they become a little bit more comfortable with talking about their coochies. And I think it's really empowering for these women that don't really talk about sex or anything taboo. Then they plan a trip to Vegas for Layla's birthday, which is a very non-traditional place for a group of married Mormon women to go because they don't drink or gamble in their religion. And a few of the men decide to tag along, okay? Dakota says he wants to come because Taylor could give birth at any moment. And Zach tags along because if you can recall, he sucks. The moms are asking their husbands about their thoughts on the group going to Vegas, and some of them start joking about going to a show like Magic Mike, and everybody seems super chill about the idea until we get to Zach and Jen. He straight up says that he will divorce her if she goes to a show like that. And after he says that, he's packing his lucky poker sweater because of course the insane controlling husband is a hypocrite and also has a former gambling addiction. Since Jen is the breadwinner, literally paying for him to get through school, she gives him an allowance of $2,500 to spend while playing poker. Like, okay. One time I went to Vegas and I spent $20 to play craps and won a quarterback, and I felt so fucking stupid. Like, I cannot imagine being able to gamble 125 times that amount. These people are so rich, I can't comprehend it. And on top of that, Zach is so hypocritical, it's insane. He gets to gamble with her money, which is against their religion, but she can't even go to a Vegas show with her friends without him threatening to leave her.
Do you want to go to that?
No, I think it's more of like a funny thing if we do end up going.
Being divorced and taking care of 2 kids would be kind of tough, so I guess you make the decision.
So Jen and Zach decide to drive with Taylor and Dakota because Taylor is too pregnant to fly. But when Taylor gets to Zach and Jen's house, she admits that Dakota's not with her because she left him at the house after they got into a big fight. They don't even resolve anything before they go to Vegas, which is a great way to start a trip. And most of the girls are very upset that these men tagged along. They understand that they're very controlling. They want to keep an eye on their girls and they don't like this kind of behavior, which I love them for that. But one of the things that Zach says while he's dropping off Jen at the Airbnb is so gross and makes me hate him so much.
Hey girl, you can do whatever you want.
Woo! Wait, do you mean that?
After the guys leave, Taylor opens up about the fight that she had with Dakota that made them late to get to Vegas. And it turns out that Macy has a secret. She does this series called Sinner Sundays where she allows people to submit anonymous messages. And she got one that says, I accidentally slept with Dakota before I knew he and Taylor were together. I only met Taylor once and I'm terrified to tell her, but I feel like she has a right to know. Help. And she thinks that it's from Jenna, a girl that Dakota was dating before Taylor. And Macy spends part of the weekend contemplating whether she should tell Taylor this information before she has her baby. Jesse surprises the group with tickets to a Vegas event. And Jen asks if her husband would approve of it, to which she gets a very unclear answer. But they've already shown it in previews of this episode, so we know it's a male strip club. The ladies get the VIP package that allows them to go backstage and meet the men in the show. And some of the moms take turns oiling up the guys in the back. Jen, however, is panicking and visibly uncomfortable and is trying to stay stay away from that action as best as she can. But they all take a picture before the show with the men to post on social media because that's their jobs. And now a lot of the husbands are freaking out. Taylor says Dakota's mad at her. Again, Michaela had a phone call with her husband, and Jen calls Zach to tell him what's going on, and he immediately berates her to the point where she starts breaking down on the phone. He won't stop messaging her, he won't stop questioning her character, and he knows exactly what to do to manipulate this poor woman who has been supporting him and their kids for the entirety of their marriage while he goes to school. And it's so sad because in the testimonial segments, Jen literally is blaming herself. Like, girl, that is not how it works. But Taylor, Michaela, and Jen end up leaving before the show starts because of their insecure husbands, but somehow that doesn't make things any better for Jen. When they get back to the Airbnb, Zach texts Jen, "I'm done, Jen. Not interested in talking. I can't do this with you anymore." Meanwhile, I would like to point out that there is footage of this man sitting at a poker table gambling the money that she gave him. I fucking hate this guy. He makes her feel so bad that she leaves the Airbnb at 2:00 in the morning to go see him and is completely MIA to all the other girls in the group and doesn't answer her phone, doesn't answer her texts from any of the girls for like the entire day. Demi said that she read through the text messages that he sent her that night before she left, and he said awful things to her like, "I'm done with you. I'm done with our marriage. You're disgusting. I don't love you anymore." Apparently threatening to take the kids and move back with his mom, all for her just going along with plans that she had no control of. And even if she did have control of, he's the biggest fucking baby in the world. In the texts, he allegedly talks poorly of all the other TikTok moms and their husbands, which doesn't sit well with any of them. And while all of this is happening in Vegas, Whitney is now considering having a homestead, I guess. I was gonna say I don't know how her husband can stand her, but she's his beard, so it makes sense. But the way the producers posed the question of why didn't she go to Vegas kind of made it seem like Whitney was invited to go to Vegas and chose not to go, which personally I think was for the best. However, one of the husbands calls Connor, so he spills the tea to Whitney, which is just so on brand for him.
"You're not gonna believe what he told me."
Also, he yet again looks completely different, but she responds to this drama about Jen and Zach by being the tough alpha girl and saying, "I don't care, it's not my marriage, and I don't think she's a good friend." Like, really? Jen was one of the saints, and she's in a toxic relationship that's actually affecting her emotionally, and Whitney was just crying about how people didn't reach out to her in her time of need for leaving the group chat. Whitney has no idea what a real issue is. The girls finally hear back from Jen the following afternoon, and apparently Jen and Zach stayed up all night talking through their issues. Then Dakota comes to the Airbnb to talk to Taylor about their issues. And I feel so bad for Taylor because she's just so emotional from her pregnancy and she just can't get past that roadblock of trusting Dakota, and possibly rightfully so. The girls then go to dinner on their final night in Sin City, but Jen is still not with them because her husband wants to keep her within arm's reach all day. And then half the group goes bar hopping, which I guess I've been confused throughout the entire show if they are drinking or not. Like, they all made a huge deal about Jesse drinking in the hot tub at the grad party, but at the vagina painting party, all the drinks were advertised as virgin. But then when they go out to eat, they have like mule mugs and other like fruity cocktail beverage looking drinks, and it's really unclear. I mean, I just want to know, are they sinning or not? Anyway, the other half of the group hangs back, which is Taylor, Michaela, and Macy, which gives Macy a really good opportunity to open up about this message that she received. And after hearing this information, Taylor is now only 101% sure that she would leave Dakota.
Like, at this point, if it is, like, I am done with you, buddy. Like, 101%.
100,000% would be dead to me.
Jen finally meets back up with the group, and to my surprise, she ends up going to the group that's at the bars, and she claims things are good between her and Zach, but I'm just, I guess, a little surprised that he like let her go to a bar. But now they're all sitting outside as a group, and Jen tells them about what happened last night. And she says, who's to say that these narcissistic tendencies wouldn't be prevalent in another marriage? Girl, he has you so manipulated. I mean, I've been there. I've been told that no one would ever love me better. And it's so easy to be caught up in that when you feel alone in your relationship. Just another example of what I really love about the show. These Mormon moms, no matter how beautiful and rich they really are a support system for women like Jen that are in toxic situations like this. Jessie is disgusted at Zach's behavior.
All of us are disgusted with Zach. I think he's disgusting.
And opens up the conversation to help Jen see how serious the situation is with her husband. It's so sad to watch, especially if you've ever been in a toxic relationship like this. Everybody can see it but you. And when you try to confront that person, they just isolate you and try to make you think that everything is fine again, which makes it so hard to understand that they're a bad person. But now Jen is starting to understand her situation a little bit more. And we made it to the finale. Okay, so Taylor confronts Dakota about this anonymous message, which of course he denies. And Taylor tells him specifically, like, if this is true, I am 101% going to leave you.
Like 101%.
So Dakota is feeling sad again that Taylor doesn't want to be committed to him. And I mean, I don't know, man. I really just don't think that innocent men act like this.
So nothing.
You want context? What context do you want me to give you? Besides, it's not true.
He then calls Macy to have a conversation because she's the one that told Taylor about this anonymous message. And she says the exact same thing. It's a really weird and uncomfortable conversation with the two of them. And I think it's the first time in my life I ever heard someone say, gosh damn.
Like the whole time, I'm just like, gosh damn.
We then get to what I think is the craziest part in this show. We're back with everyone's favorite Mormon mom, Whitney, having dinner with her family. She says to her husband, I'm trying to find a drink that's not alcoholic. And I'm confused all over again about if these people are actually drinking or not. Like, Whitney, of course you're looking for a non-alcoholic bevy. You're Mormon. And I don't think a menu in the Mormon capital of America is gonna have a problem accommodating your non-alcoholic drink. Maybe she is trying to be funny and ironic by saying this because she's pregnant and Mormon, but I think I'm just blinded by how much I don't like her on this show. Anyway, Whitney and her gay husband brought cake for dessert, and as her mom goes to cut the cake, they notice that something's in the middle of it. And I will give $1 million to somebody who can guess what's inside of this cake. No, I won't. I'll give you maybe like $1. All while saying ew herself, which doesn't make sense because she actively put this in the cake. Her dad pulls out a pregnancy test. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's not a pregnancy test. It's the pregnancy test that she pissed on to confirm her pregnancy. And she thinks this is creative. Girl, creative is whatever you do on TikTok. This is disgusting. And it's an entire waste of a cake. Shout out to cake enjoyers. Jen and her insane husband are now talking about how he's going to medical school later in the fall, and that's going to put a strain on their marriage. Jen is starting to believe that if they don't start working on their problems now, that their marriage isn't going to last. She really wants to stay in Utah to continue her job with the Mom Talk group. And remember, he's not working. So she's supporting their kids, both of them, and his student loans. They even mentioned that he has 10 more years of school, which I don't know if that would all take place in New York, but that's a very long time to continue to sacrifice everything for this loser. When she vocalizes that she would rather stay in Utah, he responds by saying, I'm happy with that, but I don't really care. Seriously, fuck this guy. At the next few events before the season ends, Jen either leaves early or doesn't attend because it's speculated that Zach doesn't want her to hang out with the Mom Talk girls anymore. Like the launch party Macy hosts for her business launching, Jen ends up leaving early, but all the moms are there except for the bestie that she has been defending all season long, Whitney. All the moms make a pact that if Whitney doesn't come by the time the site launches, they will all unfollow Whitney on social media. Whitney does not show up, and they officially step into a new era of mom talk.
Maybe mom talk won't survive.
Michaela then hosts a birthday party at a roller skating rink, which doesn't make sense because nobody knows how to roller skate.
None of us are professional skaters, but we'll still look good doing it.
Like, is there nothing better to do in Utah? I guess not, because Whitney comes just to shake things up. She goes to give Michaela a gift, but she could not be any less interested that Whitney showed up. And these kind of interactions on reality TV confuse me so much. Like, did the producers force her to go? There's a clip of the girls even saying, like, nobody invited Whitney. So, like, how much of this is really genuine? It's like on Love is Blind, how they force the contestants to drink and then confront each other just to stir up drama. Before she leaves, though, Whitney pulls Macy aside and, to my surprise, actually apologizes for not supporting her during her launch party. I mean, not before she makes everything about her, but I'm kind of impressed that she apologized at all. Macy is literally so cool and sweet and deserves such a better friend than this version of Whitney. Now Taylor's going into labor, and it's actually a really sweet moment between her and Dakota because he's so excited to become a dad, and they deliver a beautiful, healthy boy. And even Taylor admits that she feels really confident in their relationship, which I think could strengthen after her hormones finally balance out. But the season ends on a cliffhanger where Macy calls the woman in question from that anonymous message Jenna. And we are all left wondering, how will Mom Talk survive this? And they've confirmed season 2 already. I'm so excited to watch it. There were some rumors that Whitney opted out of production, but it seems like she will be on the show, but she's still not technically back with the Mom Talk group. In a short segment at the end of the last episode, Jen and her non-Ben Affleck related husband were shown in New York City and have apparently already moved there, but she will also continue to be a part of season 2. And there's been rumors online that her and Zach have separated and that it's possible that she could have already moved back to Utah, but ultimately it looks like they might still be working through the changes and possibly reflecting on how the first season of the show impacted their lives. But let me know what you think about their relationship or literally any part of this show. Thank you so much for watching this video. It took me so long to finally put all this together, but I really enjoyed the show so much that I was like, I have to talk about this. But I've been streaming a lot over on my Twitch channel, and I would love to see more of you stop over to some of those streams. We have a good old time over there. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.